Before we begin, please imagine the bell notification is on and you're subscribed to Huna Stories. The strange thing about humiliation is that it rarely sounds violent. It sounds like laughter. I didn't even want to attend the school party. It was one of those informal senior events. Music in the gym, folding tables along the walls, parents pretending they weren't supervising. My wife insisted it would mean a lot if I showed up. I went because I've been showing up for 7 years. I've paid the tuition, I've attended the conferences, I co-signed the car lease. When she turned 18, I wired the deposit for her college housing. I never asked to be called Dad, but I didn't think I was invisible. Her friends were clustered near the bleachers when I walked over. She spotted me first. I expected the polite nod she usually gave in public. Instead, she rolled her eyes. Ugh, he actually came. Her friend asked who I was. She didn't hesitate. Just my mom's husband. There's a specific kind of silence that follows a statement like that. Not dramatic, not loud, just a soft recalibration in the air. One of the boys laughed. So he's like the sponsor? She grinned, basically. That word hit harder than the first one. Sponsor. I stood there long enough to confirm it wasn't nervous humor. She wasn't embarrassed. She was comfortable. Comfortable diminishing me. I didn't argue. I didn't defend myself. I just nodded once and said, "Have a good time." I left early. At home, I waited until we were alone. I didn't raise my voice. I asked a simple question. Why did you introduce me that way? She shrugged, because that's what you are. I told her I wasn't asking for a title. I was asking for basic respect. Before she could answer, my wife stepped in from the hallway. "She's not your daughter," she said sharply. "Don't correct her." The phrasing mattered. Not "don't fight with her," not "let's discuss this later." Don't correct her. As if I had overstepped a boundary that didn't belong to me. I looked at my wife and asked, "Then what exactly is my role here?" She crossed her arms. "You're my husband. That's it." That's it? 7 years of financial responsibility, emotional labor, stability planning reduced to a marital technicality? I smiled. Not sarcastically, not bitterly, just a small, contained acknowledgement that something had clarified itself. I went upstairs without another word. I didn't sleep much, not because I was angry, because I was reorganizing. Around midnight, I opened my laptop. College tuition portal, car lease account, insurance payments, credit card extensions tied to her name. Every responsibility I had taken on voluntarily. And that word replayed in my mind. Sponsor. Sponsors fund things. They don't parent. Sponsors aren't entitled to authority, but they are entitled to withdraw. At 8:15 the next morning, I called the college bursar's office. I explained that I would no longer be financing the upcoming semester. I requested confirmation in writing. At 8:40, I contacted the dealership. I was the primary signer. I initiated early termination of the lease. At 9:10, I removed her as an authorized user from the card. No yelling, no theatrics, just paperwork. Authority is rarely loud. It didn't take long. By noon, my wife was in the kitchen holding her phone like it had betrayed her. "They're saying tuition hasn't been paid." I nodded. She blinked at me. "What did you do?" I adjusted my role. She stared at me as if waiting for the rest of the sentence. "There is no college fund without a father," I said calmly. "There is no car without responsibility, and there is no sponsorship without respect." My stepdaughter came downstairs 20 minutes later, pale and shaking. "They canceled my enrollment." "Yes, you can't do that." "I can," I said, and I did. Her voice cracked, not from sadness, but from disbelief. The system had always protected her. Deadlines had always been met. Until now. "You're ruining my life," she whispered. "No," I replied. "I'm refusing to finance a version of it where I don't exist." My wife's anger finally surfaced. "You're punishing her because she embarrassed you?" I met her eyes. "No, I'm correcting a misunderstanding." Silence filled the room. This wasn't revenge. I wasn't enjoying it. My hands weren't shaking. My voice wasn't raised. I was simply no longer volunteering for a position I wasn't allowed to hold. The rest of the day unfolded in frantic phone calls on their side. College scholarship offices, her biological father, extended family. Reality moved quickly when funding disappeared. That evening, my wife approached me again, but her tone had shifted. "She's 18, she said quietly. "She makes mistakes." "So do adults," I answered. "You could have talked to us first." "I tried." She didn't argue with that, because I had. 3 days later, the house felt different. Not hostile, just aware. My stepdaughter avoided me at first. Then, unexpectedly, she knocked on my office door. She didn't apologize immediately. She asked, "If I fix this, is there a way back?" It wasn't pride speaking anymore. It was consequence. "There's always a way back," I said, "but not to the same arrangement." I told her I was willing to support her education under clear conditions: mutual respect, shared expectations, written agreements about financial responsibility. No more assumptions, no more undefined roles. She nodded slowly. For the first time, she looked like an adult negotiating her future instead of a child protected from it. My wife and I are still navigating what partnership means. Trust doesn't fracture loudly either. It shifts quietly. But one thing is no longer confused in this house. I am not a sponsor, and I am not a placeholder. If I stand in a father's role, it will be acknowledged. If I am only a husband, then I will act like one and nothing more. There was no celebration, no victory speech, just boundaries.